Lemon! Yeah! Oh. Gonna do some live stream! Nope, shh, be quiet. I feel like my hair is very strange today. It didn't do what I wanted it to, so sorry about that. Not that you guys care. I know you guys are supportive and don't really care what I look like, but I care, so. Sorry, I thought there was a scratch on my lens. There's not. What up? Is it Peter? I think I ask you this every time. It's Peter, right? Or Petter? Petr? Or something. You guys can hear me okay? I think this is what I normally have it set at, so you. Those of you who haven't gotten this, if it was one of your rewards, you will get it soon. I know they were behind on availability, and so now they're not, and that will be great. Peter! It says that other people are here. If you want to say hi, you're welcome to. If you don't want to, that's okay too. If you're shy, you don't have to be though. There's not very many of us here. It's just the Otter Club. Ooh, you know what would be fun is if I posted you guys on Instagram. Yeah. What up, Kestrel? Streaming now. Otter Club. Oh yeah, so Peter, I agree that 20 bucks for shipping is not worth it, but Juggling Warehouse has free shipping over $20. So I mean, it's dumb, but like if you add something that's like $1, it's a way better deal. So, you know, you spend 20 bucks and you get completely free shipping. I usually recommend there's like a fidget spinner or something that's $2 or something like that. So, that's the hack, the workaround. But what level are you? Because if you're a juggling otter or above, then you get a set anyway. But yeah, that's the workaround. It's not. It's a totally fine way to do it. Posting, yay! You guys are. I mean, you as in the camera. Oh, sweet, Mike. Yeah, and I wanted to say, Mike, you don't. I appreciate that you always want to be an awesome otter, but like if you want to just be like a cool otter, that's cool too. Like you don't have to. If that's like easier consistently. I appreciate any support, but Awesome Otter is definitely freaking epic. It's awesome. I've been really happy with these juggling balls. I did beat one up quite a bit and it did start to like, the seam did start to freak out a little bit, but that happens even with like my professional balls when I beat them up enough. So I'm been really impressed with how durable and great feeling these are. Like, I think for a beginner, like, good priced beanbag, I think they're really solid. I don't know, I know some of you have some. How are they? How do you like them? Have you been using them? It's Q&A for me. I get to ask you questions. Peter, being only cool is totally fine. There's no such thing as only cool. I gotta make the chat bigger so I can see it. There we go. Sweet. Oh yeah, the comments are super nice. I think we talked about those earlier. I actually don't have a set of comments. Like, I have one ball. Because they sent those to me to possibly be the Taylor Tries style beanbag. But I ended up not wanting that because they were a little bit bigger, I think, and slightly more expensive, and I opted for something that was a little cheaper so that people could like afford them more easily. But I do recommend the comments. I think if I ever made like the like a Pro Series beanbag, it would probably be the Comets, because I think that they're slightly more professional-ish, I guess. I don't know. I wanted to double check while we're here. I doubt it, but I wanted to just double check if anybody became an otter right at the last second, just to make sure they're not confused. They didn't. It never works. Yeah, 130 grams is pretty heavy for beanbags, and that's actually how I prefer my professional set. I have a really good set that I love that actually is, you know, what these are based on, by Sport Juggling Company, and they're great. I love them. And then these are the other beanbags that I sometimes use. These are like my travel set. They're a little squishy, which I don't mind, but I don't love. But they're from G-Balls, and they have a cool tee on them, which is cool. I don't know if you can see it. Focus. Yeah, see it? It's cool. I like it. Yeah. But mine have my name on them, so that's even cooler. Yeah. It says there's so many more people that are here than are saying that they're here, and that makes me sad. I want you guys to say hello, because I never get to actually talk to you in person. Not, I mean, in person, right? But, like, I haven't streamed Twitch in a while, in like a week and a half or almost 2 weeks, but I really like streaming Twitch, but I also find it very exhausting. And it's hard for me when I'm so behind on everything else to like justify playing video games that much. And I think there was a big part of me that thought, oh, if I do Twitch and that somehow starts paying off, then I can justify playing video games. But it's like, it hasn't reached that payoff yet, and it just doesn't feel fully worth it to like take 2 hours out of my day that I could be editing, or that I could be working on Otter stuff or anything, my podcast. It's like video games or life that I need to do. And that's my struggle. Especially because the new Pokemon game came out and I love it. I got to play it for like an hour and it's amazing. I love it so much. Yes. Every Friday, Mike, I think about you because I know you're the biggest fan of Lip Sync Fridays. And I was thinking about how my entire Instagram, I've done it like 6 times, which is crazy. But I think about it every time the day's over. And I think that the reason why I have the hardest time with that one, I love lip singing, but the reason why that one's so hard for me to do sometimes is because in order to do it, I have to have like a speaker playing the audio, which I can only do at like my desk, and my room is kind of like not a great place to do iPhone videos just because it's like, it's not very well lit. It is right now because I've like lit it for this, but normally it's not very well lit. So, you know, in order to like get a good iPhone image, I feel like I have to go out of my room, and then you can't play your speaker. Like I can't play music from my iPhone and do a video, which is my biggest complaint about my phone. So it just becomes like this, like, I have to film it either with my good camera, or I have to like find a way to have a separate phone and a speaker or whatever. But I miss Lip Sync Friday. I would like to have it come back. I may just like film a bunch of them and then just release them. I don't know. I really like them. I love lip singing. I've loved it since I was a little kid. I used to, and this is how weird I was as a kid. I would like in my room listen to music, and like in front of the mirror I would like pretend to do lip singing because I couldn't sing. I've gotten better at singing since then, but I could not sing in high school and middle school, and so I would just like get into it and try to pretend to be the singers, and it was the best. And it's just, I've gotten okay at it. I think lip singing is a skill that I've somehow gotten pretty good at, and it doesn't pay off at all. Stream. Peter, it should be worldwide shipping, unless you're in like a really weird country, like Afghanistan or something, which I don't think you are. And but I think that the $20 has to be before what is that called? Like taxes and stuff. I don't know if that helps. Try that. And it might be maybe when you go to check out. And I'm gonna check. Oh no, it's USA. I think you're right. I'm sorry. I'm a liar. I'm such a freaking liar. It's only the USA. But the way that you can get around it, Peter, is if you, and like, this isn't something I normally recommend, but if you want to, for 1 month, upgrade your Patreon to 15, then you get free shipping, because I set it up. And so you won't have to pay for shipping, and then you can immediately, like, cancel it and go back down for the next month. Like, that's a good way to get free shipping. I don't normally recommend people do that because it does technically cost me money, but it's not as much as it would cost you. Like, it costs me less. So I would, if you upgrade to the juggling otter, I can ship it to you. Well, I don't ship it, but I can tell them to ship it. But it doesn't cost me nearly as much as you, so do it. I feel like my tea is a really ugly color. It's because I like iced tea, but I don't like full strength iced tea, because then I get like jittery. So I water it down, like I half it, and now it looks disgusting. Yay. How many of you, I think maybe it was Kestrel, was it you that was talking about the workshop tomorrow? One of you was like the one really amped about tomorrow, like commented and stuff. Was that you, Kestrel? About working on like 4 balls and stuff. Wow. Cool. I was thinking about it, and I think I can cover like some 4-ball tips, but I think I don't have a ton on top of the normal 4 balls, but or on top of my other work, my tutorial. God, talking is hard. I don't have a ton of extra tips on top of the tutorial that I already made, but I was thinking that maybe like a lot of people don't know some of the weird 3-ball tricks that I do. So even if you're working on 4 balls, I thought, oh, if I do a really cool 3-ball trick that you don't know, then that would be beneficial for you. Would that be something you're interested in? I was even thinking, let's see, I'm gonna zoom this out. I'm sorry that you get to see my face all close. Yeah, look at my messy room. I was thinking like maybe fake Mills mess. I don't know if you know that one, or like follow is a good one, or chops. I'm not good at that one apparently, or reverse chops. Do any of those strike your fancy? And Mike, I guess this would apply to you too, because you're an awesome otter. That's very sad, Mike, that you hit a child. I have definitely done that. They're in the way, and they don't know how to have awareness of other people, and I think it's a good life lesson of, like, if there's a person juggling, you should move. And it's something that a lot of adults don't know, and it really bugs me. Like, I'll be juggling 5 balls, or worse, I'll be juggling knives or torches, and people will just, like, almost run into me, and I'm sitting here like, you're the one that's gonna get hurt. You need to have more awareness of danger and space. Yeah. I don't know if this is, do you guys like this wider angle more? I have to sneeze. boy. Oh, sneezing made me cold. Bump, ba-dum, bum, bum, bum. Yeah, should I zoom back in, or do you like this like wider angle? And I can always like push it down a little bit. I don't know. I'm still learning the live streaming thing. It's really confusing. Like, it took me a while today just to set up my camera again. I couldn't get it to work. I can't remember why or how I got it to work. Oh, I had to update the weird setting. I don't know. It's amazing to me how complicated things can get when you start like trying to make them slightly better. It's insane. Otter Crib. Yeah, it's a mess. Over there is my microphone down in the corner. You can see it. That's the microphone that I use for my podcast. And it's in a box so that it doesn't make the noise echo. I read online that was how you should do it. I don't know if it is. I'm gonna zoom in just a little bit. Yeah. I'm using a Yeti Blue microphone, which is weird because it looks, or it's a microphone that a lot of people use, and I got it like 10 years ago in college, like literally 10 years ago, and yet it's still like a common microphone. I don't know, I'm sure it's been updated since I first bought it, but it looks the exact same. I don't know, it could just be that Yeti was like, yeah, we figured it out a long time ago and we're just gonna keep it. But I've been really impressed with it. It sounds really good. And there's my pile of books over there, and there's my laundry, and then there's all the crap that's sitting on my dresser. I'm not going to show it to you because there's a lot of crap on it. I'm not a clean person. I'm not a dirty person. I have a lot of clutter, but it's because I do a lot of things and my brain's all over the place, and I drink a lot of caffeine. So, you know, all the puzzle pieces make sense if you think about it. Yep. What do you guys think of the recent changes with everything? I don't know if you guys have checked out the new Patreon tiers, because some of them affect you. I mean, like the juggling workshop is new. A lot of them are things that I think I like moved them around. Like the keychains are now going to cost an awesome otter, I think, to get a keychain now, just because I was finding that those are really hard for me to produce, like surprisingly time consuming. So everyone who has them or is supposed to get them up until, you know, like 2 days ago, you're going to get them. I just finished making the next batch. Like I said, they take forever, and now I have to ship them out. But yeah, so I moved a bunch of the rewards around. I added a picture. I'm going to send you guys a picture, or like a calendar with a picture every month. And if you ever have any suggestions of like a picture that you think would be funny or something, you can tell me. I'm not ever going to do anything like inappropriate or anything like that, but it might be me and Lemon, might be me juggling. I don't know, I'm excited. I think it'll be a really good creative challenge to figure out how to make a good still image that is worthy of you guys staring at more than once. And the goal planner is gonna be done today. I'm so freaking pumped. Been working so hard on it. I put way too much time into it, but I just wanted it to be good, and now it's finally coming to an end. And I'm sure I'm gonna keep updating it. I feel like I wrote like a mini book. It's not that long, but it's like a mini book. Yes, a Tyler Tries calendar. Well, with the goal planner is like a, just a printout calendar that comes with it, because it's like a big part of setting a goal and learning something new is sticking to a schedule. So in the planner I talk about how it's important to set that schedule and then stick to it. no matter what that schedule is for you. And so in that, there's a calendar, a monthly calendar. There's also a weekly calendar that I actually use and have been using for the last 5 months, and before that, honestly, it's just that I made it more official like 5 months ago. And that helps me a lot just with my daily stuff. I love to-do lists and planners and stuff like that. So so there's a monthly calendar, and so I figured, well, every month I'll send you like this month's calendar rather than just a generic, here's the calendar for, it's gonna be fine, it's gonna be fun. I'm trying to learn Lightroom to get better at photography too, and so I'm always a fan of something that I have to do being beneficial or like being a learning experience. So in this case, I've made a reward that will force me to get better at photography, hopefully, especially like editing videos or pictures. Yeah. And absolutely, we need to have our own buddy cop movie. It's gonna be like Turner and Hooch, but it'll be... Turner was the human, right? Yeah, so it'll be Taylor and Lemon. Yeah. It's gonna be great. I don't know what the plot is gonna be, but it's gonna be good. Lemon, you wanna come say hi? Come here, you wanna say hi? Come say hi. Come here, don't be lazy. She just went on, come on. Come on. She just went on a really long walk, so she's tired. Come here. Why are you being so weird? Say hi to everybody. Yeah. I love you too. Does anyone have any questions for Lemon? She's pretty shy, but she will answer questions. Typical day for me. That's interesting. I would say I typically wake up first, as I've heard some other people do. I'm actually gonna zoom this in. That's not the zoom, that's the focus. Yeah. So I wake up and then I usually start, hop on the computer and start responding to emails, responding to, paying bills, doing, the normal adult stuff for a little bit while I drink my tea. I always drink my tea. Yeah. And then I will typically, once I get, that done, which is, an hour, then I'll typically do a workout. I like to do a quick half-hour exercise thing, just because otherwise I get really just stuck, working at the computer, and it's just bad for me. I can feel it, my body starts to hurt. So I like to exercise just a little bit every day. And then, honey, you're so sleepy. And then and then I come back and I edit for a while, a couple hours. And that's hard because it takes a while to get into it. I'm getting so much faster, and that's amazing. My next podcast, which I'm hoping to have out today, it's just I need to do the jingle, because that was the number one feedback that I got, was that I needed some sort of music. So it's done. I'm just waiting to get a battery for my ukulele so I can do intro music. And then, I edit for most of the day, honestly. And then somewhere in there, I take Lemon on a long walk, where I usually multitask and play, my farming video game for, a half hour. Because priorities. And, yeah. And then sometimes I'll spend, an hour juggling if I'm, in it. I haven't for about a month, which has been really hard for me, and I really want to get back into it. So, yeah. What Vietnamese food do I recommend? Oh, Mama Hong's. It's delicious. Have you tried teaching Lemon any tricks? Yeah. She knows a few tricks. She can do sit. Huh. You can do sit. She's sitting right now. She's doing a great job. High five? She doesn't usually like doing tricks when she's cuddling, but can you high five? Can you shake? No. She can high five, and she can shake. She can also dance a little bit, which wasn't very hard because she does that anyway. And she can lay down. She can stay. She's a good puppy. My favorite thing that I trained her to do, and she doesn't really do it anymore since I moved in with roommates who have untrained her out of this habit, but when I first got her, one of my biggest pet peeves with dogs is when they sit there and they beg and they stare at you while you eat. And I hate it because it makes me feel like I'm being watched and it's creepy, and I just, ugh. And so I didn't want Lemon to do that. So I I intentionally trained her that every time I was eating food, she had to look the other way. So she would like turn away until I was done. Or she'd have to go like lay down or something. It sounds really mean, but it's like, I don't eat forever. So it's just, I don't know. Like if I'm sitting on the couch, she just had to turn away and go do her thing. And I loved it. And it was the funniest thing, honestly. She was pretty good about it. And then I moved in with roommates, and it's like, they're not gonna keep her in that habit. You know, when they eat, she's just like, oh, now I can be a dog. But you're the best. Don't. You have very bad breath. Even though I try to brush your teeth, you still have very bad breath. She's such a good dog. If I could give Lemon any superpower, that's really tough. I think there's a part of me, I've been thinking about this a lot lately of how, like I've been playing Pokemon and I was sitting there like, Pokemon, I wish Pokemon were real. And then I was like, wait, we have animals. Like they're basically Pokemon. And that made me feel bad for a second because I'm like, I have a Pokemon right here. But then I realized that one of the things about Pokemon that is like more effective in the real, or in the, you know, the imaginary world of Pokemon, is that they're like independent, and that you can, so like they can walk around without a leash and stuff. Like they're not gonna attack things. Like they're trained really well. And also you can put them in a little ball and carry them around. So that especially, I think if I could give Lemon a superpower, it would be the ability to somehow like become portable, either with like a Pokeball or just get small so I could put her in my pocket or my purse or my fanny pack. You want to sit in my fanny pack? And then I could take her everywhere and it would be great. And then she would be this small and she would just be like, ah, I would love that. Little tiny Lemon. Because yeah, she's kind of inconvenient right now when I want to go places and they don't allow dogs. It's very sad. Have you ever tried juggling wine bottles? No, I've never done wine bottles. I don't know how common wine bottles are because they're weighted really weird. And also wine is delicious and I don't want to waste it. But I have been wanting to learn flair juggling, which is like flair bartending, where you juggle like vodka bottles and stuff. I have some actually, I have some practice bottles, but they're really scary. Like they're really hard plastic and they're heavy. So when you drop them, it's just like ding, 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 ding. It's very loud. It's hard to practice when it's loud. It's hard to practice inside or if you don't wear shoes because it hurts your feet, as I've learned. What up? Hi, new person. Yeah, and I've also, since I'm transitioning into, like, I've stopped working in the film industry because it was really making me unhappy and sad. And for the summer, I was working, I was helping the International Jugglers Association, and that's why I was traveling so much. I was filming stuff for them and making videos, and that's now coming to an end. And now I've found that I don't have very much money because I haven't worked in a while. Like all the money that I'd saved up is pretty much gone. So I need to get a job, but I like how much time I've been able to focus on creating this online stuff, and I'm really passionate about it, and I really want to keep doing it and eventually get, income from YouTube and really get better at that. And, Patreon is great, and I love being creative, and I have this message that I really want to get out there, and I think I'm just at the beginning of it. So I don't want to take on like another editing gig or like something that's going to take on at the end of the day, and I can't come back and do the things that I want to do for Taylor Tries. So I've been thinking of like what's a part-time thing that I can do to make extra cash and pay my rent and stuff. And I realized like bartending might be really fun to learn. Like one, it would be fun to learn because it's like mixing things and it's like potions, right? I think that would be really a good skill to learn how to make drinks. And then on top of it, I think that I could make good money at it because I'm like, you know, personable and like I like talking to people and being social. So I think I would be pretty good at like getting tips. And the whole point that I bring this up, then I could learn flair bartending, and that would be extra fun because I could incorporate juggling into this like side job. So I think I might start doing that after the holidays and take like a course on how to be a bartender and make enough to keep doing this. So excited. Yeah. I have not seen Penn Jillette's beer bottle routine. I've actually never seen Penn or Teller do anything. Like, I have no idea, and I've kind of intentionally done that. Like, I want to see them live, and every time I'm in Vegas, I'm like, I'm gonna go see them, and then I never do. So, yeah, but I have this weird, it's a personality tick or something that I have, where I like things to be very fresh, and I don't want them to be ruined or influenced in any way. I like to experience things like a baby. That's a weird way to put it, but I want to go see Penn and Teller without having any preconceived notions or like expectations or have it ruined in any way by seeing their other stuff or seeing that stuff online. So I haven't seen any of Penn Jillette's stuff. But after I see their live stuff, then I can go back and watch everything. It's weird. I don't know. My brain creates rules, and that's one of the rules my brain has, is whenever I watch a TV series, I have to watch it from the beginning. Like, I cannot jump into a show like halfway through. Even if it's a sitcom, like Friends or Seinfeld or something, where they're seemingly unrelated episodes, I think that you miss a lot about the like true heart of a show unless you watch it with the arc that it has. And great shows, even sitcoms like Seinfeld and Friends and How We Met Your Mother and stuff, I think that they have those arcs, like seasonal arcs, that I do think you miss out on if you just jump around. So that's my film geek in me. So the biggest, I wanted to watch Frasier. I really wanted to watch Frasier. But I was like, Frasier is a sequel to Cheers. And so I went back and watched all of Cheers. And there's like 12 seasons of that freaking show, and each season has like 40 episodes. It was a lot of my life. But I did it while doing other things. Like sitcoms, I think, are good background stuff. Like juggling. I can watch TV and juggle at the same time. But it took me like a year. And then I was so burned out with the characters that I didn't want to watch Frasier. So Frasier's still on my list, though. Anyway, I'm weird. Yeah. In case you guys didn't know that, I'm super weird. I'm just gonna talk unless you guys ask questions, but it's almost like therapy. You guys are my therapy. Every month. No, I've been thinking a lot lately about Instagram and how, like, clearly, I think anyone who's, like, paying attention can see that I have reined way back on Instagram. I'm not posting on a schedule anymore. I'm not posting very frequently, like once a week, maybe twice, whereas I was posting every single day. And as a result, like, my Instagram is halted. I'm not gaining any more followers. In fact, I'm losing some every day, which is normal. That's Instagram. And that doesn't bother me at all. I don't mind losing people. The way I see it is, like, people who are, like, a good community and fans that I really want are gonna stay, and that's awesome. Like, I don't want to feel like I'm having to, like, chase that number. But I do kind of, I've been thinking about this lately, how I really miss the feeling of Instagram. And I was thinking of doing a whole podcast episode about this, because it's weird how, like, now that I've been focusing on YouTube, I love the creative outlet on YouTube and how it allows me to do, like, a longer form message. And even though they're really silly and kind of stupid a lot of the time, other than my tutorials, which I love and I'm going to keep doing, but the longer form YouTube videos where it's like Taylor tries trick shots, like, even though they're kind of silly and dorky, I think that they get the message across that I really wanted to get across, which is that, like, it doesn't matter if you're silly and bad at it, like, you should still do it. And even if you're with one of the best in the world, you shouldn't be embarrassed or, like, afraid to do it. Like, who cares? You're gonna get better if you want to keep doing it. So that's my message with that. And I love that. And I love that YouTube gives me a longer platform to do that. But I miss Instagram, and I miss the weird, like, forced creativity of doing something every day and doing something really small. Especially with juggling. Like, and I think maybe this is part of why I reined back on it. Not that, like, YouTube doesn't allow me to do this, but it's just a different type of creativity. But Instagram, when I was focusing on doing juggling, like, every day, I would have to come up with a new trick every day. And after a year and a half or 2 years or whatever, it definitely has been harder. I think that's why I started, like, okay, I need to back up. But I kind of want to lean into that challenge and just, like, be like, yeah, it's harder now, so what? Let's do it. Let's figure out a new trick every day, or a new variation, or a new way to do it. Like, I miss that creative challenge every day. So the problem is, it's like 1 to 2 hours of my day to do that from start to finish. And it's just, when I'm behind on YouTube and I really want to get that new tutorial out, or I really want to finish that, new video, it's hard for me to justify the thing that I'm already really good at, or that I've already kind of succeeded at. So that's where I'm at. It's interesting. How long did it take me to learn Mills Mess? The only reason I got into juggling. Oh, really? That's awesome that that's the reason you got into juggling. Mills Mess it's a mind twister. And my tutorial for it is coming out this week. It's almost done. So I'm going to release it. My goal is to release it for you guys, like, Monday, and then the rest of the world can get it later in the week, like Thursday or Friday or something. But the trick itself, it's been a long time since I learned Mills Mess. I learned it when I was, like, 14, I think. So it's been, like, 15 years. And so I don't fully remember, like, how long it took or how that went, but I do remember it being the first juggling trick that hurt my brain. Like, it was the first one where I was like, what's happening? Why? Because, like, up until that point, it's just kind of, it's easy to understand a trick, I think, in juggling. Like, it's easy to be like, or to, like, watch a trick and understand kind of what's happening up until that point. I think that's the first one where you watch it and you're like, what is going on? Unless you somehow, like, jumped way ahead. But I think Mills Mess is kind of that first, in my opinion, the first trick that should do that. And so it is. And so I imagine it took me, I'm kind of a fast learner, so I don't think it probably took me that long to learn. Maybe, like, an hour of, like, somebody actively teaching me, which is way easier than trying to learn yourself. But having somebody teach me, I think I probably got it in, like, an hour. But that being said, it was very, I'm gonna zoom out again. I think at the time it was like, me doing, like, this. Like, I think that it probably took me an hour or two to, like, figure out how to do the pattern in terms of throws. But then it took me, I can't even do it sitting down. It's very hard sitting down. Wow. But it took me a while to be able to do it well. And that's true for so many tricks. I was watching my very first YouTube video yesterday, because there's this challenge or whatever, that's not a challenge. There's this, like, trend that people are posting what they looked like in 2009, 2009 versus 2019. And my first video was like 2008 or 2007. And so I just was like going back and watching them to see like what's the difference. And wow, like it's hard for me to remember sometimes how like learning a trick and being good at the trick, there's a pretty big gap between that. Like I learned quite a, I when I filmed that video, I'd been juggling for I think like a couple years, like 2 years or 3 years. And I was, I was working on 5 balls. I was working on 5 clubs. I was good at 5 balls, but not good at the same time. That's what I'm saying is like I could do these tricks and I probably could be doing them for like a year, but I still didn't, I didn't take the time to like narrow in that form and make it really solid looking. And so it's interesting to go back and see like how even after a couple years of juggling, my tricks, like my club juggling was very weird. My back crosses were super awkward. Like it's taken me a long time to get smooth and fluid to the point where it looks right. And I'm definitely going to remember that like when I'm teaching people how hard that is and how much time that takes. And I actually really encourage everyone who's doing juggling to remember that that is like a separate skill and that it's totally worth spending time on. So like even if you learn like a half shower, like you could just be like, I did it and move on. Or you could be like, how do I make this better? How do I get comfortable with it? And like doing that is almost a separate trick. So that's really fun. Yay! Beginner ball set. That's these ones. I love them. They're really nice. And I always forget to bring them places. Like I keep filming stuff with Josh. And I always forget to bring them when I want to do like a juggling thing and he always yells at me. I do ride a unicycle. I'm not very good at riding a unicycle. I'm not bad at it. Like I can go forward and then fall off and then I can come back and then fall off. And then sometimes I can go forward and turn, maybe. But I'm not like a solid unicyclist like a lot of people are. I really actually want to get better at it. I've been thinking about that lately. My next YouTube thing, and I'm so excited about it. Once I get done with a bunch of these videos that I have, like these tutorials and stuff that I have on my bracket, my next thing that I really want to do is how good can you get at something in 10 hours? It seems like a good concept, and it seems really exciting for me. Like, from where I am now, with 10 hours of deliberate practice, whether that's an hour every day for 10 days, half hour every day for 20 days, or 2 hours a day for 5 days, I don't know yet. But the idea being, if I practice just 10 hours and like really practice this thing, how good can I get? And I want to like document it. Because I think sometimes we get really in our heads about like, oh, it's going to take me so long to get good at something. Like, what's the point of doing it? And we never, I don't know, for me, a lot of the time I don't recognize how much progress I've made. Like for most of us, if we're learning a new skill, 10 hours might be over the course of a month, right? Like you're not spending an hour every day on a new skill usually. So it might take you a lot longer than that. Maybe you're doing 20 minutes a day. But still, like that's great. And doing 10 hours of something is a lot. And it's totally accessible for most people. I think you can put 10 hours into anything over how much time you want, but like if you do that. But I think a lot of people don't think that would help them that much. Like I don't know if a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to get very good in a month, But I think you can. I think you can get really good. And I'm curious. I mean, I don't know. I'm curious to see like how good can I improve? How much can I improve on something in 10 hours? So I'm going to do some that I've never done. I'm going to do some that I've done before, like unicycling. I'm going to show where I'm at, and then I'm going to do 10 hours of practice and see if I get significantly better or at all better. I want to try like Rubik's Cube stuff. I got a 4x4. I've never tried it, so I'm going to do that. Yeah, I think it's really interesting. I'm really excited about it. Especially because I get quoted the 10,000 hour rule a lot. And I think it's a fascinating concept, and I think it's absolutely accurate. But I think that like the general public has done this telephone thing with it where they think that they understand what that means, and then a lot of the time they use it as an excuse for not doing something. You know, the 10,000 hour rule being you become a professional at something after 10,000 hours. And I've heard people be like, well, I just, like, I don't have 10,000 hours. And it's like, well, yeah, nobody has 10,000 hours to get good at a new thing. I mean, not really, unless that's your job. So for me, it's like, I see people use that as a reason not to do something. And it's like, but you don't have to be a freaking professional to learn guitar. Like, we're talking like Jimi Hendrix has done 10,000 hours, right? Like, it's not, most people who are really good at guitar have not even done close to 10,000 hours. I haven't done 10,000 hours of juggling. Like, I did the math, and look at how good I am. I've definitely not done 10,000 hours. So it's funny how people use that as a reason to like, oh, well, I'll never get good. And it's like, no, the 10,000 hour rule doesn't say that you'll get good. It says that you'll become professional, which is not a realistic goal. So 10,000 hours is like 5 years every day for a long time. Yeah, me too. Habit stuff, methodology is really great. There's a great book that I was reading. Actually, I read it a while ago, but it's one of my favorite books. I was rereading it, called Atomic Habits, and I talk about it in my goal planner, so. What is Latro? I had another question. Oh yeah, flying mola mola. I don't know what a mola mola is, or why it's flying, but it sounds great. You used to juggle a bit, or you used to unicycle a bit, but not juggle on it. I've never been able to juggle on a unicycle, especially because I can't idle. I feel like that's the key to learning how to juggle, and I cannot idle worth a crap. Yeah, somebody said that they always want to learn new things, but then they keep practicing, picking up new things, and then they stop the things that they were learning. I've fallen prey to that, absolutely. I mean, look at how many skills I have. I was looking back at my Instagram and like, oh yeah, I was trying to learn handstands for a while. Completely gave up on that. But in my head, I still want to come back. It's just, I don't think there's anything wrong with finding things that, like trying out different things, putting some time into them and being like, yeah, this is not what I want to do right now. And that's totally fine as long as you are aware that like, oh, if I'm really enjoying this, I should practice it. Like, for me, handstands were really impractical. It was hard for me to practice. It was hurting my wrists a bit, and like I didn't have enough time to like stretch and stuff. So I kind of made that choice to put it on the back burner. But something like kendama, I practice multiple times a week. I'm still not very good, but I do practice quite a bit because I found that I really enjoy it. So that's one that I have made a conscious decision to keep doing. Oh man, lots of things. What inspired you to create a podcast, and will there be guests? Being on the Drop Everything podcast inspired me because it was so much fun to be able to just talk about my life and my views and my ideas, and it made me realize like, wow, I would love to do this more. And then I said, oh yeah, I can just do one. I don't need somebody to ask me questions. I can just talk. I know that that's logically not, like, I know most people like podcasts that have two people, but I also know that that's just really hard for me, and I don't have somebody in my life right now who is like kind of in the same world that I am in terms of social media and what I'm doing, who could commit to actively being a part of the podcast. So for now, it's just me, and I'm fine if like 10 people listen to it. I think a lot of what I've always done on social media and making stuff is for me. Like, it's just to kind of timestamp my progress throughout things. And so for me, I love the idea of having a podcast where in a year I can go back and be like, wow, I was really struggling with editing, and now I've gotten so good. Like, it's just a great reminder. Or like, giving all my thoughts on Instagram and how I grew on that, and being able to put those in a solid form so that maybe in 10 years when Instagram is gone, I can go back and remember, oh wow, those were the things that I used to tell people, and how have those applied now? And I just think it's fun and fascinating. So I would absolutely love to do guests. I think if I do guests, I think that they will revolve around people who have done sort of businessy, like tried business type endeavors. That's the word. So somebody who has like done what I've done, where they've been like, I want this to be a thing, and then they went and did it, and I would love to hear how they did it. So whether that's like writing a book or making a podcast or selling a product or, you know, doing social media or anything like that, I already have a couple people in mind. So when I get the chance to invite them, I will. Lord of the Rings Online. Oh, Lord of the Rings Online. I think that's the thing that you're saying that you did for a while and you didn't get good at it. I would bet, one, that you were better at it than you think you got. You got better at it than you think you did. And that's why I'm like excited to kind of actively measure it, because I don't think that I get that good in 10 hours either. But maybe I do. You know, maybe I just haven't paid attention. And then 2, an online thing is tough. It's tough to measure your proficiency at something that heavily involves other people because, like, I don't know, I experienced this. Like, I might be good at something in terms of my skills, but then if somebody else is, like, way better, I'm going to appear way worse. Or even worse, if they're somehow inflicting their mastery on me, then it's going to make me worse. Whereas, like, maybe the actual skill of it I'm good at. Although you could argue that the online aspect is the skill. I don't know. But I don't tend to... It's hard to measure hugely interactive things in progress, in my opinion. I've heard 20 hours. Interesting. I haven't heard anything. I think 20 hours would be a lot to film. I'm going to stick with 10 and see how it goes. Maybe eventually I'll move to 20. I don't know. But I am also curious to, like... I'm totally not opposed to the idea of, at the end of 10 hours, I'm like, I didn't get that much better, but I did get better, because I know that I will. You will get better with 10 hours of practice. People don't think it in juggling either. Like, maybe they go from not being able to juggle to being able to do, like, a half shower, and they think, oh, I haven't gotten any better. But it's like, you learned how to juggle and do a trick in 10 hours. That's really good. Also, like... intention, right? And I think, I don't know, for me, I get called a fast learner a lot, and I am, but that's because I've learned a lot of things, and I do it deliberately. I pay attention. And I talk about that a little bit in my goal planner of like revision and reflection, and I think that that's important when you're learning something, and the more that you actively do that, the better you get at learning. So for me, like, you know, I see people with juggling all the time. Like, they'll learn how to juggle, or they'll be doing this, but they're so focused on, like, doing the thing that they're not paying attention to what's not going right, or what they could be doing better. And I think that, like, it's less important to be like, I need to be able to do the thing, and more important to just think, how can I do this better? No matter what, no matter where I'm at, how can I do it better? So, yeah. Mola mola is a fish. I learned something new today. Are there any jugglers I take inspiration from? No, just me. No, of course. Wes Peden is the best juggler actively in the world right now. He's super inspiring. He just came out with a new video called Ice Cream. If you want some inspirational juggling that will blow your mind, go look up Ice Cream by Wes Peden. He's insane. Like, he inspires every juggler, I think. Honestly, I think I mentioned this in the podcast that I was on, Drop Everything, but Bob something on Instagram, I'm super inspired by him. He posts weird videos a lot, but I really love, he'll post, like, 3-ball tricks that I've never seen before, and it's super inspiring that, A, he's, like, 60-something years old, and he only learned how to juggle recently, like a couple years ago, if that, I think. he said. It might have even been like 6 months ago or a year ago. And he's gotten really good at three balls because he practices a lot. And he just comes up with this creative thing. You know, he'll do a trick where I'm just like, what's happening? And I love it. And it's so fun. So he inspires me, I think, more than anyone for all those reasons. But I don't spend a lot of time watching other jugglers just because I don't have time. Interesting. Yeah, progress tracking is definitely documenting. I don't do that a lot, I guess. Like, I always encourage people to do, like, in social media for that reason. Like, just share, if anything, just as, like, a diary to be like, this is where I am now, and this is where I will be. I guess I do talk about, like, the reflection part a lot of how I think you should actively pay attention to what you're accomplishing in the moment and how much you've accomplished. And I do talk about that. I talk about micro goals a lot. Like, that's the number one thing for me of how do you get good at something, is you set smaller goals. Like, so many people, they'll be like, I want to learn guitar. And I'm like, cool, what does that mean? What does learning guitar mean to you? It means something to me, but what does it mean to you? And it's just like too broad of a goal. And then when you go to do it, you sit there and you're like, I learned a song, but I guess I'm gonna burn out now because I didn't learn guitar and I don't feel good enough. And it's just, for me anyway, I found that the times that I don't succeed at something is when my goal is really broad. And I think honestly with handstands it was the same thing. Like, I didn't go through the process for that as I normally do, where I set a clear goal and break that goal down into micro goals. And micro goals being just like smaller goals that are more attainable. So if you're learning to juggle 3 balls, it will be like juggling 1 ball as a micro goal. And then taking a moment when you do that to be like, yeah, I did it. And I think it's that kind of progress tracking. I think that's similar to what you're talking about. This ability to, for me, I think that's kind of serves the same purpose of like time stamping. Like, I did this thing that was a step. It was a clear step. And I'm really proud of myself. The amount of people I see who, like, once they get something, they just go, cool, and then they don't even acknowledge it, and they don't congratulate themselves in any way. Like, if they get 2 balls, they'll be like, okay, let's move to 3. And I'm just like, well, of course you're gonna burn out if, like, you just accomplished something, and your brain is telling you that not only is it not a big accomplishment, but that you just need to hurry up and get past it. It's like, that's like saying that every time you run a mile, you're just like, oh, I didn't run 5 though. And it's like, yeah, but you ran a mile. That's better than you did earlier. So for me, yeah, that's like the biggest part, is telling myself like, good job, I did that thing. And it took a lot of training of my brain to like recognize smaller goals and acknowledge them and be proud of them. So yeah, and I always try to encourage people to take that same approach. And that is the number one thing I talk about in the goal planner, is just like setting those smaller goals and training your brain to be happy with them and to acknowledge them and like mark them off and say that you did them, because then you get to see like, oh yeah, this week I did all this stuff. I made all this progress. Whereas normally you might be like, I learned to juggle, or like I couldn't juggle and now I can only get 6 catches of 3 balls. I suck, you know? It's like, no, but you've done so many things in between then that took you a while, and that's awesome, and they were progress. Anyway, I could talk about it for a while. It's my favorite thing to talk about. I've thought about doing like speaking stuff about it, like trying to teach people that concept, but I also know that there's people out there that are way more educated or qualified to do that. You know, I don't know if anyone is like, I want to hear a juggler talk about how to learn things. I'm back. Sorry. I came back. My camera overheated, which is good. No, the battery didn't die, the camera just overheated. But that's also because we're coming up on an hour and I've been streaming for an hour. It shouldn't be overheating. I should check that for next time. But nevertheless, it's been a great hour. We had a good talk. I really appreciated all you guys' questions. Thanks for asking me some weird ones and some really insightful ones. I felt I had a good time sharing stuff with you. And thank you guys for being otters. Like, I really appreciate it. I know that I say it all the time, and I know you're probably sick of it, but I really, really do. I think that it's, like, the nicest thing. And I know that there have been times when I haven't lived up to, like, what I promised and stuff, and I feel like I'm getting better at that every month, and I love that, and that's exciting, and I really want to just make sure you guys are getting, like, your best bang for your buck. And nevertheless, like, the emotional support that you guys give me, it means a lot. So thank you guys for being amazing and for being an otter. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys later. You're gonna be getting some good, those of you who want to come to the juggling workshop tomorrow, I'm going to, like, finalize what we're gonna talk about. Oh, thanks, Jameson. I'm going to finalize, like, the topic, the tricks that we're going to be working on tomorrow on Patreon. I'll post that later today, but I have a feeling it's going to be some weird 3-ball trick that I think nobody's learned. And I'll touch on some 4-ball stuff for Russ, because he wanted to know that. And so hopefully some of you guys show up for that. We're going to do that tomorrow at noon, or, you know, PST, Pacific Standard Time, California time. So show up if you want. If not, I'll talk to myself and just do a workshop for Lemon. She wants to learn. And be on the lookout for the goal planner. That will be coming out this weekend. And then the podcast will be coming out as soon as I get my ukulele battery. And, oh, the bloopers. I've been working on the bloopers today. They will be out soon. And then all of you who haven't received any of your physical stuff, those will be shipping out this week as well, because I just finished keychains and stuff. So I'm catching up. Yes! It feels really good because I'm behind. But yeah, I think that's all of the rewards that I'll have to be caught up on. So thanks, you guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Oh, and see you on Discord. If anyone's not on Discord, go, like we're on there a lot. So if anyone has never done Discord and you're like, what is it? Like, it's really easy. I had never done it before. It's just a chat room, basically, and it's really fun to just be able to chat with the other otters. So go get it if you don't have it, and I'll see you there. Bye. Say goodbye, Lemon. Look. I tripped. Look at all my crap in the background.